So we are live. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. The show who brings you champion people of, courage, people who have an incredible story, and people who have and expertise to share with us, and who can inspire us to take action to go to the next level of our greatness. My name is Mirai Tulekima. You know me by now. Today we're going to Zimbabwe. My guest is Dr. Faith. I'm going to call her Faith because we want to be familiar with her, but her last name is Dr. Nyamukapa. So she's an amazing woman. She's an award-winning entrepreneur. She is a chairman of her own company. And I'm not going to say much. I'm going to leave her the opportunity to introduce herself. And today we're going to talk about entrepreneurship. And as you know, entrepreneurship during the time of COVID-19 is very challenging. There are lots of challenges and very difficult, consequences. We can say that COVID have really changed the way we do business. And one of the questions that we are asking ourselves is, are you ready to embrace and survive as an entrepreneur during this difficult and challenging period? So that's going to be the topic today. And I hope that you're going to have the opportunity to participate because this show is for you. So if you have any question, come in and really, give your insight, ask your question. Dr. Faith is here for you, and she's here to help you. So we're gonna start, and as usual, get your pen, get some paper, because there's gonna be a lot of good nuggets shared today, good ideas, good tools, good strategies that you can just write down and later on implement, and later on as well share with people who don't have the opportunity to watch this show. So I'm bringing Dr. Faith now, and sit down tight with your pen and your paper. We're gonna start this amazing conversation.
Hello.
Like now?
Is it all right? Okay. Let's get started right into it. And that is the power of labels, right?
On memories, but as I got older, I started to be more aware of some of the abusive sides of.
So welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show, Dr. Faith, and really looking forward to have this amazing conversation with you. But before we get to this point, I just want you to introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, the key thing that you feel like we should know, and then we're gonna start and talk about and focus on our topic today.
Thank you so much, Mirel, for the invitation. I'm honored and I'm humbled. My name is Dr. Faith Nyamukapa from Zimbabwe. I'm a woman with passion to transform lives of children, communities, women empowerment, youth empowerment in Zimbabwe and in the region of Africa and globally. So I'm moved by the desire to see lives changing. And yeah, each and every day that I wake up to, I've just the tenacity to do something out there. At least if I'm doing it through the words, through actions, through deeds, so long I know that my impact is making change out there. So basically, that's who I am.
Fantastic. And I think we need people like you right now with what's happening. I mean, the pandemic, it's been a year now that we've been into it. Lots of challenges, especially for women, challenges. So one of the questions that I have is, as an entrepreneur, what are the challenges that you had to go through, and the key challenges, and how do you continue with those challenges to do your empowerment work, because it must be very, very difficult right now.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for that question. Challenges are always there. So you find even as an entrepreneur, you can't avoid challenges. And especially now with the COVID that has begun, you're now forced to maneuver or strategize, bring new changes. You can't stick to what you've been doing all the past 10 or 20 years. So you're forced to change because of the economic situation. You're forced to change because of the trends of what is happening. So even your services and products now need to suit the current trend. So, for example, now we hear that the key buses, city liner that used to travel long distances, Harare or Zimbabwe to South Africa, they're closing off. And that's affecting the people who used to go to South Africa to buy goods and services. The cross borders, already the cross border market has been affected. So if it's someone who he has a mindset that, okay, if I was a cross border, I'll still remain a cross border, you will never survive. So from the cross border experience, you're now forced to then see, what really did I learn from there? What then should I start doing, irrespective that the buses are no longer going to travel? Should I start an online shop? What really should I do to embrace the current challenges? So challenges will ever be there. You will never rise as an entrepreneur without challenges. Prices will continue rising. Your goods and services will be affected by the pricing. Is it the duty aspect? Everything will come to play. But you as an entrepreneur, you now need to analyze yourself and see, where do you stand? How best can you cost your items, at least offer reasonable prices, because you need to survive. You need to be sustainable at the end of the day.
Okay, all right. So that's there's quite a lot of things that you've said, but the key thing is really about the challenges that are always there as an entrepreneur, and you like you said, you never rise as an entrepreneur without challenges. You always have challenges. It's you as an entrepreneur to find the right solution, to find the right tool, the right strategy to adapt to the new situation. So we're gonna have just a small break and then watch one of your video with your team, and then we'll come back and continue our conversation with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
maita chinhu chakanaka, kuuya kudzidzisawo nenharaunda yedu kuita zvinhu zvakanaka kwakanaka sei. The real challenge chekuti kana isusu tese tiri pano tikazvibvunzawo kuti chii chakanaka chandakabhoitirawo umwe munhu, vamwe toona kubuda tiine zero. It's a good challenge. It's a good lesson yamatiunzira. Uye ngatirerei vana ava. Umwe muimbi akaimba achiti vana vadiki, mwana mudiki ngirozi yani, ngirozi yaMwari. Tikavaitira zvakanaka, nesuwo tinowana ropa pasi. Havana zvipomerwa zvavanazvo vana vadiki ivava. Tinofanira kuti tivarere mune zvakadini. Mubereki akava nemhuri akaneglecta mhuri, anenge arasika, anenge atadzira Mwari. Tikatadza kubva pano tiende the nearest school going towards west. We are talking of around 7 to 8 kilometers kuti vaende kuchikoro. Totadza kubva panapa zvakati vaende kune Handa. We might be talking of plus or minus 4 to 5 kilometers. But there is a challenge yehighway. Muchidimbu ndinozitenda izvozvo. Kouya, it is my vision kuti nzvimbo ino nedistance kubva kumamwe maareas ane zvikoro. It is my vision kuti nzvimbo ino yaida kugara pasi waridzi venharaunda ino pave ne at least a preschool, then poitawo grade 1 up to 3 zvinotibatsira kudzivirira tsaona dzinoitika munzvimbo. Vana amai, mhirizhonga dzekukwenyana tiramba tichinetsana pamberi pevana, ngatisiyanei nadzo. Ndazvinzwisisa here? Kana isusu tinoita mhirizhonga baba naamai mumba, tiri kupa chikoro chipi kuvana vadiki ava? Kwavanoenda vanenge vachizoitawo zvamamuchiita muri kumba. Maita basa.
Vana vari pano takaona kuti mwana ashambidziki anoda vaselini haangazouya kuchikoro kana kuonekwa asina kuchena ndizvo. Saka takabata zvehealth. Saka unofanira kugeza kuti we munhu akanaka ndizvo, kuti chena hembe dzakanaka. Tobata futi kuzvikoro munoda mabhuku, munoda mabhiro, munoda mapenzoro, zvirimo futi izvozvo. Tikati sevana vanoda futi zvekutsenga, unoona maswitsi arimo, unoona 1, 2, 5 zvimwe zvakangozara imomo, uyezve nemabhisiketi turimo imomo, necolgate. Colgate ihombe haisi yakomuchirenzeka, yaye mhuriwo muchizongoshandisawo mese ikoko kuti zvinake. Saka ndozvatakaunganidzawo izvozvo, mwana wega wega. Kune vasikana vati kurei tine mapedzi aripo supporting the girl child, saka sanitary pads nema-panty liners.
tapiwa zvinhu zvakanaka chaizvo tinotenda.
So we are back with Dr. Faith Nyamukapa, and Dr. Faith, that's amazing, really amazing. And I wanted to ask you, Kid Care, what is it all about, and what do you do, and what is the impact that you are trying to, or you are having, or you are trying to have?
As Kindeke Zimbabwe, we strive towards SDG number 4,
Mm-hmm,
which is quality education. So we see that the future of children uh, is well nurtured at a very young age.
mm-hmm,
And our focus is on early child development, which is
mm-hmm,
the youngsters. So why we chose that age is we desire to build up great leaders for the
mm-hmm,
future. We desire to nurture children and as we strive towards quality education, we empower educators in Zimbabwe and regionally. We
mm-hmm,
do capacity building workshops. We share information, anything to do with education and childcare. That's what we offer. So we ensure and we try to ensure that any child, irrespective of location, gets access to quality education. And we assess the needs that are there in the different communities, and we tailor make programs that best address those needs at that particular time.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So our
It can
impact has been well.
Go ahead, sorry. Dr. Faith, go ahead.
Mhm. Yes, so our impact really has been seen over the years, where we are always trying to equip educators to be well natured at that particular time. Like now that COVID has come, and we are ensuring that they are well equipped for online lessons. So
Mm-hmm,
we partner with different organizations. We appreciate Asterisk from Australia.
mm-hmm,
These are sending very affordable laptops for schools in Zimbabwe. So we strategize and identify partners that at least come and support education in Zimbabwe at very cost effective ways, such
mm-hmm.
that no child is deprived.
So we've lost Dr. Faith. We'll be back. I'm pretty sure she should be back pretty soon, and we can continue our conversation. So she's back. Um, so we up to you, Dr. Faith.
I'm back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know what had happened.
yeah. So you're
Okay.
back now, so we can continue.
So we try by all means to ensure that our educators are well equipped. And last year, we had the opportunity to train rural educators, teachers in Norton, with skills in which they can develop their own classroom material from
Mm-hmm.
recyclable material. So
Mm-hmm.
even in as much economic.
Okay, we love Doctor again. So we're gonna have a break for the time being, and then we'll continue the conversation. I think she was mentioning. Okay, I think it's probably the rain on your side. So okay, go ahead.
Mhm. So we had a workshop we did with the rural teachers in Norton. not
Mm-hmm.
on where we were equipping them to make classroom material. So it's not always the case that if a teacher doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have books, then they say they don't have learning material. We then equip them further, in which we help them develop classroom material that kids can use and still continue their
Mm-hmm.
learning.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And that's the most difficult, during the pandemic. And I can imagine accessing those rural schools must have been quite a difficult thing to do. And so we're gonna be back. I'm sorry for the bad connection, but I think it's raining in Zimbabwe. So we're gonna be back. We'll just have a short break, and we'll be back. So we are back. Welcome back, Dr. Faith. We are back. And so my question, I mean, because the work that you're doing not only is already challenging, like I said, to access all those schools in the rural area. So what are the things that the pandemic changed for the good and or for the worse?
Can you come again? You're breaking.
Yeah, I was saying, what are the things that have actually changed in the way you're doing your work right now due to the pandemic? Good things and bad things that have happened since we've been in this pandemic challenge.
Okay, since the pandemic has
Okay, so we are having quite a challenge with Dr. Faith. Uh, I'll ask her. I think she's having some tremendous problem right now. Um, so, what are the things that have changed since we've been in the pandemic? They can be good things or bad things that you think the pandemic brought to you, to your way of doing business, or to your way of interacting with the children and anybody that you interact with in your work.
okay. The pandemic has affected our work in the sense that education has been affected globally.
Hmm.
And here in Zimbabwe, we at a stage where we are still embracing e-learning.
Yeah, it's
So
I
with the
think
rural schools,
it must be the connection on your side. Maybe it's raining or something. So you've been embracing
mhm,
e-learning. Hmm.
yes, we are embracing the COVID pandemic. And as an organization, it has affected us in that we can't have more access to every school,
Hmm.
especially those that are working in the rural communities. Not all of them have access to online learning. Not all
Hmm.
of them have access to e-learning. So we now need to adapt and try to see how best we cannot deprive such communities. So schools, yes, they are ongoing with their e-learning, they are continuing. And we've put on hold most workshops because we can't have physical workshops currently. We are still
Mhm.
under the lockdown, and we've tried to identify the workshops you can do virtually. So last week, but one we had a workshop, one of the first workshop for this year, and we did it virtually, and it was a success. So we are embracing and trying to also continue offering our services and our trainings virtually to
Mhm.
those who are able to access our trainings virtually. But all
Mhm.
the same, you find we continue to equip the parents, we continue to equip the school directors as to
Mhm.
how best they can survive. So they
Mhm.
still have challenges with parents. Not every parent is well equipped to sit down with their child and do online learning. Some may not
Mhm.
have the gadgets for online learning. Some parents are going to work and they come back in the evening, the children are sleeping, and the children has a backlog of work.
Mhm.
So all the same, we then try to then see how best the schools can interact with the parents and at least come to an understanding and equip the parents on how best they can educate their children in their homes, because it's something new. They never had exposed to that, but
Mhm.
it's something that they learn and perfect as they go.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. And it's quite a
Mhm.
new thing, so it needs a lot of
Yes, yes,
education, not only of the parents, but also
mhm,
of the community as well. Because I think in Zimbabwe and in every single African country, the community is very important. So it's important to educate
yes.
the
Hmm.
community as well. And so one question that I ask you, are you ready? And were you ready for that? Did you, how did you find it going through that as an entrepreneur yourself? Um, you know, uh, what was, feeling, and then how do you feel going forward as an entrepreneur, trying to make an impact? What are the key things that you think are important for you to be able to survive right now as an entrepreneur?
Uh, COVID-19 came as a shock to everyone, to
Mm-hmm,
any entrepreneur, uh, either a big company, small company, or a company that it started in a day.
mm-hmm,
So for us, we have seen it as an awakening call,
mm-hmm,
whereby we are trying to see ourselves as to how best can we survive through this,
mm-hmm,
and how best can we pull through
mm-hmm,
after the
mm-hmm,
COVID era. Because you find after the COVID era, we'll have cases where even the big companies are closing,
mm-hmm,
and the small companies that is started have closed. We have schools that even closed operations in December,
mm-hmm,
because the whole year for last year, only preschools were given the opportunity to open once, which was in November. So they
mm-hmm,
only had 1.5 months of operation the whole year, besides January and February when everything was normal.
mm-hmm.
So those with rented properties, those ones are in a critical moment of.
So we lost Doctor. We're gonna get through the technology. I just ask for your patience. It's very important, the conversation, and so we have Dr. Faith back. Luckily, it's not cutting for a long time. It's just a matter of bringing her all the time. So yes, go ahead, Doctor.
Okay, so most businesses that were renting premises for their schools, most they closed their operations in December.
Mm-hmm,
So because there was no business and then the landlord still needed their rentals. So
mm-hmm,
with COVID, it has now brought the aspect of how far can you go to negotiate and
mm-hmm,
come to power with your landlords in terms of
mm-hmm,
survival.
mm-hmm,
Because coming to see to it, there are no operations taking place. And
Mhm.
you can even find, maybe you can have those landlords who still want more from the little or from none.
Mhm.
But then, had you created such relationships before? Do you have a good
Mhm.
relationship with your stakeholders? Because with a good relationship, you can be able to survive and pull through. So for
Mhm.
us as an organization, we have so many questions that we get from our from the schools, from the directors. Why?
Mhm.
Because it's something new that came, and they don't have a clue on how to address issues with their parents.
Mhm.
So you can't work in isolation anymore. You
Mhm.
have to work with your people, you have to work with your stakeholders, and having to have updated information. And now,
Mhm.
schools, if they're going to open after the lockdown, it's starting to prepare now, having tests for the staff, the COVID test for the staff, preparing the premises for operations. You need to fumigate, you need to do all sorts of things, and that's a budget. And
Mhm.
you need then to think outside the box. How am I going to raise money? If
Mhm.
parents are stuck at home and they're not going to work, how am I going to survive? And now is the survival of the fittest
Mhm.
currently.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you still have to think outside the box. We are forced
Mhm.
to think outside the box. I remember last year when COVID started and schools were saying, Doc, we need thermometers. And I'm like, oh, we have never done that before. But what
Mhm.
did we do? We didn't ignore such. We take it as a stepping stone. We did our research, looked around for thermometers outside Zimbabwe. How best can we have cost effective thermometers here? We did that, and it was
Mhm.
a first time to import those thermometers. Why? Because there was a need, and we had to meet
Mhm.
that need for the schools, and they had them at very cost effective amount. So
Mhm.
what are we saying? For us, COVID has opened us in terms of trying to see other capabilities, other
Mhm.
avenues that you can still do even in the COVID era, even in the lockdown era. We can't say, no, we'll stop and start when lockdown is lifted. Even in the
Mhm.
virtual space, what strategic partners can we have? What strategic workshops and capacity building programs can we do such that we still offer our services? We don't remain dormant. We don't
Mhm.
remain as if you're obsolete, but we need to be felt as if we are there. And
Mhm.
yeah, it has been a very eye-opening experience, Miral, to tell you the truth.
Mhm, mhm. And that's the important thing is that sometimes you have a devastating thing happening, but you, like you said, you have to
Mm-hmm.
find a way to be innovative, to find data, to find solutions, be really solution
Yes.
minded, instead of waiting for the situation to be solved by itself. You have to be proactive, like you did, do the research, go and see overseas what was done, and
Mm.
bring it home so that you could actually still stand on your 2 feet. And that's really fantastic. And what do you think is the most important thing that what's going to be really key going forward when we've settled with COVID? What are going to be the key thing that entrepreneurs like yourself in Zimbabwe or the rest of Africa will have to know or to do to be able to stay relevant and stay competitive?
Um, for an entrepreneur to stay relevant and competitive in the current era, they now need to understand the market
Mm-hmm,
post COVID.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
The market has changed dramatically.
mm-hmm,
It has changed totally.
mm-hmm,
How we used to do things and how we used to get things has changed.
mm-hmm,
The importation of things has since changed. The duration of receiving things from outside the countries has since changed. Different policies are coming up. So
mm-hmm,
for you then to survive, you now need to have information. How well informed are you with the
mm-hmm,
current trend? Are
mm-hmm,
you aware of the new regulations? Are you
Mhm.
aware of things that will affect you to start business post COVID? Because right now, gone are the days when an entrepreneur would wake up and say, let me go to the bank and borrow money. Is
Mhm.
it safe to borrow money nowadays? Those
Mhm.
are the key critical issues you need to think about, because years back you used to do that because
Mhm.
everything was normal, but now things have changed.
Mhm.
Is it a
Mhm.
good space for you to borrow money as a young entrepreneur? No, you need to do those researches. How are other companies surviving currently? You need to do the research now. The
Mhm.
same people in the same industry as you are, identify how they're doing it and see how best you can even embrace how they're doing it, or doing it even better and
Mhm.
even
Mhm.
much differently than them, because how you package your product and service will allow you to survive.
Mhm. Mhm.
With the
Mhm.
deaths that are happening, I think the key services, the key products that are still ongoing, food is key currently. Services to do with burial, those are thriving currently because of the COVID. But for you, is your clothing business relevant currently? How many customers still need to buy a shoe? Are there customers who still need to buy a new pair of a suit? Maybe
Mhm.
there are none. So, how best will you survive post COVID? Should you still remain in the clothing industry? Or within the clothing industry, try to identify a range that suits the COVID aspect. Is it
Mhm.
the clothing to do with the fumigation or something related to COVID? Because that's how you can
Mhm.
survive. Because if you continue sticking on the formal suits, who will be
Mhm.
wearing formal suits anymore? Yeah, which
Mhm.
company will think of staff clothing now? PPE is the talk of the game nowadays.
Mhm.
Companies are
Mhm.
looking for PPE, the masks, the
Mhm.
protective clothing. So if you were in the clothing area, why can't you
Mhm.
venture into that? So you're
Mhm.
forced to think outside the box. You're forced to stretch yourself a bit so that you survive. So
Mhm.
even for us, we're like, okay, even if schools then open, how best can we then offer our service that is
Mhm.
relevant? Maybe we'll remain with few schools. Will we survive with the few schools? So how can we survive post COVID? Those are issues that we then say, okay, what are the needs? We have to do
Mhm.
another survey. We have to go back into the market. What are these schools in need of? What are
Mhm.
the three key strategic partners that we need? Because we need strategic partners to also
Mhm.
survive. The ones whom we had, they would have closed businesses. The ones
Mhm.
we used to work with, maybe they would have shut down the operations in Zimbabwe.
Mhm.
So we need to go back in the market. We need to assess what's the current trend in the market. How best can we take those challenges as opportunities? Because
Mhm.
where there's a problem, it's an
Yes.
opportunity, so that you can be able to offer something new or perfected to meet a
Mhm.
particular group of people. Yes.
Mhm. And that's very powerful, and I like the fact that you said, it's not going to be the same. It has
No.
changed. We're not going to do things how we used to do. Even if we say, okay, it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
the back to normal. No, it's not going to be back to normal. We'll have to reassess, like you said, and understand what are the problem of the moment, and then adapt our services, products to solve those problems. And I like the fact
Yes.
that you said where there is a problem, there's an opportunity. So in a way, as entrepreneur, we are problem solver, and we need problems to be able to to
Mm-hmm.
lead, to be entrepreneurs. Otherwise, it's not happening, and that's sometimes something that we forget. We tend to focus on the problem as something negative, instead of looking at the problem as something that can actually help us to pivot, or to go to the next level as far as our services or products is concerned. So fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
fantastic things. So I mean, there's obviously now a lot more regional. There's a focus on having more regional inter-African trade. And there've been
Mm-hmm.
there've been trade the trade, the African trade recently that was signed. So how do you see it affecting the way you do business right now? In Zimbabwe, but also in your own industry.
I think with such,
Mm-hmm,
I'm not quite sure how it will affect the services aspects, but at the
mm-hmm,
same time, it's more to look at alliances that are relevant,
mm-hmm,
and at the same time trying to see the synergies that work for us,
mm-hmm,
because there are the synergies that we'll find may not be ideal for us, or they may
mm-hmm,
not work for us, or they may be a cost to us and not for our benefit. So
mm-hmm,
it's trying to then, when any new law is passed, or when any new aspect is passed, it's a matter of trying to understand it more. We are trying to understand and trying to see how best that can be an added advantage, or that can be something that cannot work for us,
mm-hmm,
because you're now trying to see, because with such levels they talk of volumes, they talk of
mm-hmm,
levels of monies that you'd have reached. uh has our net profit reached that level that they want? So
mm-hmm,
at times, you find for us, being a growing organization, we can say we may not have reached that particular level they're looking at, because you find
mm-hmm,
we are still heading there. We have not yet reached there. There are other big companies that have reached there, maybe whom we are working with, but at the same time, we are trying to see, okay, what are the steps that we can then undertake to get
mm-hmm,
there, and
mm-hmm,
also trying to then learn from them and gather as much information we can, so that we become relevant within that global space, that regional
mm-hmm,
space, and offer what we have beyond what we have been doing, because now it's a point of going beyond.
mm-hmm,
Your
mm-hmm,
business should not remain as a local context. No,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
it now should go beyond the local, going regional and global, because
mm-hmm,
everyone is on Facebook
mm-hmm,
24 hours. Business is now online. No one is now going to the shop. Everything is now online.
mm-hmm,
So your business should go beyond the local periphery and
mm-hmm,
go beyond the borders. So how
mm-hmm,
can you then offer services or products within the region and global, when you can't appreciate or embrace that regional aspect? You just have to embrace so that you survive.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's powerful. And we have one comment here from Christelle. Christelle is based in France. She used to be here in
Mhm.
Australia, and she said, "COVID has been beneficial for me as I work internationally, selling my goods and services online only instead of physical services." Product delivery, that's what you were just saying right now, and having meeting with people via Zoom and not feeling that distance anymore, like pre-COVID when I moved to a new country and still working with people back home. So it's an opportunity definitely for a local entrepreneur to go global
Mhm.
and readjust their mindset to understand
Yes.
what are the global opportunity, what are the services that they offer that can actually serve a different market than their local market, and really embrace and take the challenge to
Hmm.
go beyond the local border and the local market. So that's
Very
that's
true.
that's a key one. Yeah, key one that
Yeah, and the funny thing, Mirel, is that
mhm,
within our customer base, people are not embracing technology.
mhm,
That's a very big challenge.
mhm,
If we talk of Zoom meetings, not all schools or not all directors are willing to go to just stress themselves and embrace the technology aspects. They'll say,
mhm,
I have challenges. I don't know what Zoom is. I don't know how to log in. Have you had the chance to learn?
Mhm.
Some don't have that ability to stoop that low and
Mhm.
learn about something new. So
Mhm.
you find the ones who have embraced the Zoom meetings, they've gone far beyond those who have never even started to know about Zoom or online
Mhm.
sessions. So it now comes back to the mentality, the mindset.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
even as an entrepreneur, you have to categorize your customers. You
Mhm.
can't move to the next level because of one customer. No. Move
Mhm.
on. Those ones who are delaying, uh, appreciating and embracing technology, you should, at the time when they're ready, they'll catch you when you're far ahead. So you
Mhm.
don't have to wait for customers or clients who are still taking their time to embrace technology. It's now a year. We have now
Mhm.
gone past a year. What have they been doing over the past year without
Mhm.
embracing technology? Yeah,
Mhm.
if it
Mhm.
was someone who's serious, they should have embraced way back, and by now they should be techno friendly, appreciating other applications, and
Mhm.
even their parents or schools embracing such technologies. So we have seen that we just have to categorize our clients. We
Mhm.
just have to, we can't put them all in one bag, and then
Mhm.
our decision is based on one, on all those. No,
Mhm.
even if we have a handful of clients who are ready, we move on, we
Mhm.
progress with those. Then the others will catch up with us when we are far ahead and we've
Mhm.
made much more progress. Yes.
I like that we have to categorize our clients, and I mean, technology is still a taboo in a lot of
Yes,
in a lot of
that's
African
true.
country, and especially in the government and people with responsibility.
Yes.
They just don't want to use technology. They still want the face to face
Yeah.
meetings. And
Yes.
I've gone through an experience just recently where I'm working with a client in Africa, and he wants me
Hmm.
to travel. I'm like, I can't travel. We
Hey.
have to make the decision through
Yeah.
through the Zoom. You have to trust this tool, and it's not
Yes.
like we've never met before. We've met before, so you know me. It's
Mhm.
not like, but I can't travel just to sign the thing and you see me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's still this mindset that is not you know
It's true. Uh,
technology savvy.
yeah, for us, we appreciate the banking sector in Zimbabwe.
Hmm.
They've embraced it so well. You
Hmm.
can do all your banking in the comfort of your home.
Hmm.
So if you find the banking sector having embraced such within a short period of time, us as entrepreneurs, where are we lacking? Where are we lagging behind?
Hmm.
I think change management is a process.
Hmm.
Some people are rigid to change. Some people
Hmm.
just don't want change at all. What they
Hmm.
used to do years back remains as what they still want to do. But you can't remain like that. Things have
Hmm.
changed.
Hmm.
So we just need to embrace. We just need to work and see how relevant we are. So
Hmm.
if change is taking is a challenge within your organization, is a change being a problem with your clients, with your staff, because staff as well, they
Hmm.
are key at this current point in time.
Hmm.
How ready are they to embrace the change?
Hmm.
Because you may end up having more staff turnover now, in the current situation than before, and you need to then see how best you can retain the best staff members for you to
Hmm.
then be able to achieve your goals post COVID era.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Fantastic.
Mhm.
So we're getting to the end, the end of the show and the conversation. And one thing that I like to ask my guest is, obviously you've been doing so much already in Zimbabwe, empowering women, empowering girls, and really, putting the work and on the ground. And so, what's next for you? What's really what is the legacy that you are working toward? What is the legacy that you want to leave? If I can ask this question.
Oh, that's a very big question for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, for me, I would say, uh, I'm still learning. and I'll still continue to learn from others. The
Mhm.
legacy that I would leave, that I would want to leave behind, is that of commitment
Mhm.
and that passionate leadership to transform communities. For me, I save as if I'm saving unto the Lord. I'm not
Mhm.
pushed to save. No. It's
Mhm.
something that's in me that I can do passionately. I can do anytime. I'm more than willing to do more when I see the need being there. And in terms of leadership, it also calls for you to humble yourself.
Mhm.
You have to humble yourself so that you're in a better position to lead others and at the same time learn from others. If
Mhm.
you have that mentality of saying, I know it all, or I've reached there, you never progress, you never make it in life. So
Mhm.
for me, I'm living full steps
Mhm.
of a dedicated leader who's selfless in terms of
Mhm.
service. I do a lot of work. I'm involved in different work. Is it in the government? Is it in the community? Is it in education with the youths? I'm everywhere. But whilst I'm everywhere, I'm trying to add value to the
Mhm.
recipients. I'm trying to add value to the beneficiaries. And at times it's not always about money, but at times it's more about sacrifice. What do I have to
Mhm.
offer? Should I die with all that knowledge and value that I have? But I still need to impact it to people out there. I still need to share that knowledge to people out there. So I'm still dedicated. I'm moved by passion. When I see progress, I'm dedicated to do more. I'm encouraged to do more. Even the feedbacks from people and the different accolades, the awards, those ones, they keep me going. Why?
Mhm.
Because I know my efforts are being acknowledged and my efforts are being recognized out there. And I appreciate so much our partners, our clients, um, any organization we've worked with. I'm really grateful. I've got a very supporting network, a very supportive husband, and I appreciate all the support that I have.
Hmm. Fantastic, and I think the audience appreciate as well all the all the support that you've given them today, sharing your own experience, sharing your own knowledge and expertise, and I really hope that they're gonna use it, because this is wise. Those are wise input that they surely need, especially if they are entrepreneurs, and if they are entrepreneurs in Africa, and especially women entrepreneur. So make sure you've put everything on paper, and it's not about just leaving it on paper. You have to implement it. And
Yes,
if you
yes.
can, just like Dr. Faith herself, share it to create an impact in your community, wherever you are, wherever you can. Be a dedicated leader, because that's what it's all about. Dedicate your time, dedicate your energy to make a difference in your communities and in everything that you do. So Dr. Faith is, like I said, she's a multi-award entrepreneur. She does different things. She's also an author, so she has a latest book, um, Stepping Out. And maybe Dr. Faith, you can tell us where we can find your book, so that if people want to get it, they can buy it, if you have like an online link where they can buy the book.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mirel. This is a result of COVID.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
books are a result of COVID, and it's more to inspire people out there who have lost hope and value moments of life and stepping out. It's a dual book,
Mm-hmm,
where I'm saying we are all in value moments, but God says we are not there to stay. We walk through value moments. So
mm-hmm,
the book will be available on Amazon soon. Those who need soft copies can get hold of me. Those who need hard copies, they're also available. I've received so many testimonies by people who have read this book since we
Mm-hmm.
launched it last year. People, their lives are being transformed. I also shared my personal experiences in how I've risen up in the business space in this
Mm-hmm.
book. So not all things that I've not shared publicly, I've written them in this book. It's my treasure. I openly
Mm-hmm.
shared yeah, those nuggets. How have I risen? What challenges have I gone through? And how have I overcome? And how am I doing in business? What are the key aspects of survival? All that, I put them in the book.
Mm-hmm. So make sure you get the book, Valley Moments of Life, Stepping Out by Dr. Faith Nyamukapa, and really, get her the feedback. Get the book, read it, and get the feedback. Start a conversation with her, because it's always good for us to know, to learn
Mm,
from leaders, and to
yes.
so that we don't do the same, you don't make the same mistakes. So that's important, to
Hmm.
learn from leader like you. And just to we also have your own business. So you're the chairman or the executive director of Kinder Care Zimbabwe. So that's I assume those are your contact, where people can reach out to you if they want to
Yes.
continue the conversation, or just know a little bit more
Hmm.
about what you do. So that's so take
Yes.
note if you want to continue the conversation with Dr. Faith, and also know a little bit more about what she does. Obviously, in 1 hour, it's difficult to talk about everything, but you have the opportunity now to connect with her directly on Facebook, on Instagram, and she has a Skype as well, and phone numbers. So don't hesitate to reach out and learn from this wise woman who has a lot of experience, been doing business globally as well. I mean, she's based in Zimbabwe, but been doing business globally. So you will learn a lot from her. So that's all for today. But before we leave, any last
Thank you.
word that you want to tell the audience before we leave the platform?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. What I have to say to anyone out there is live your dreams. You don't live twice. You have one life that you have to live. You have to live it well, and don't be intimidated by challenges that are coming. Challenges are just there to equip us and preparing us for the better future. So if you're an entrepreneur, continue to be focused on your goals, continue to set high targets, dream wild dreams. If you want to be the next billionaire at a younger age, go so, do so. For me, I was like, I need to be a board member at a young age. I did that, I accomplished that because I was saying it years back. So
Mhm.
the sky is the limit. Don't be intimidated if your friends didn't attain that. You can't be stopped by what other people are saying. Your vision is in your mind. Continue to envision the life that you want to live, the experience, the lifestyle that you need to be exposed to. So soldier on. God is faithful. I'm a devout Christian. I live on the word of God, and I'm a doer of the word of God. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Doctor. And it's been a real pleasure to host you today. I've learned
Thank
so
you.
much myself. And I really, really, thank you for, taking the time to have this conversation. It went really
Thank
well.
you.
And I hope, that the audience feel the same. For those who are gonna watch the replay, please don't hesitate if you need to connect with Dr. Faith. She has, we had all our contact, or if in doubt, just connect with me and I will connect you. So that's all for today. We will be back next week with another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour. Thank you, Doctor, and let's stay, in contact. See you, Doctor, and take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. And bye
Thank
to
you.
everybody. And may God bless you all.